Hey, my name's Joan, and I want to try to give my testimony this morning. My Sunday school teacher made a comment this morning, and she said, "You have a testimony that others need to hear." And the Lord really nudged my heart when she said that. I was saved as a 7-year-old little girl. The Lord showed me when I was 6 that I needed to be saved. I had been raised in church. I'd love to say that I walked close to God all those years, but I didn't. I wanted to share with you one of the hardest periods of my life was a 3-year period of time from 17 to 20. I got out of a really mentally abusive marriage. My daddy died suddenly. I actually saw him using the paddles to try to bring him back. My brother, who was my little brother, 2 years younger than me, um, shot and killed himself the very next day after my daddy died. And I just didn't think I could go on. The next day after, I just laid out in a field in the grass crying. I said, "God, I'm mad at you. You could have stopped all that from happening. I love you, but I'm not going to talk to you right now. I'm mad." And I hate that I wasn't that Christian that said, "The Lord, He'll provide." Because He does. But I was mad. And I walked around mad and grieving and trying to do the things for, well, at least for a year after that, if not two. And then in 2019, in November, my precious mama died. And it was 2 years after my daddy and my brother died in November. And I loved my mama with everything in me. And that was even the hardest one. I was used to calling her many times a day. And I lived with her for a while after my last divorce. And I just missed her so bad. And she kept having strokes, and it just seemed like, Lord, she served you so much. Why did she have to die such a hard way? But God knew what He was doing. And also, just a few months after that, um, a relationship ended that I thought was one sent by God, and had a little boy I loved and liked daddy too, and that was done. And the devil just really hopping on my back. What do you got to live for, girl? Everybody, everything you love's gone. You're unlovable. You're unlovable. Everybody leaves. Nobody stays. That being said, I had a daughter and a grandson that loved me very much, and 2 or 3 friends. But the devil don't want you to focus on who does love you. He wants you to focus on who don't. God still loved me, but I still wasn't talking to Him like I should. Well, it was in February of 2020. I was out hiking at a spot that had a lake, and I was harassed by demons that day in a way that I ain't never felt before. I was already depressed. I was already out of God's will, and I even saw emotion out of the corner of my eyes. I mean, it was cold that day. Most normal people went out trying to hike, and he said, "You just jump in that lake, take your life. You're not a good swimmer. It's cold. You'll die quick. Your daughter will find your phone, think you fell in." And he was just making me want to do that so much. I went away from the water and back up to the beach area, and I fell down on my knees, and I looked up in the heavens, and I said, "God, I need your help, and I need it now." And I had barely even been talking to God. But you know what He did? He came and helped me, because I was His little girl, and He knew I needed help. And He rescued me that day. And He fought that demon away from me. There was trash cans shaking. I could hear it, and I could just imagine in my mind that He just knocked him out and balled him up, put him in that trash can. And from that day forward, I started trying to get my walk right with God. So I was working on getting back in church like I should and all that. And in May of 2020, I had a seizure, and I'm like, I've never had that before. And then I had an episode of like crazy high blood pressure. So I went to the emergency room, and they found a tumor on my brain, and it's not the cancerous kind. It was a meningioma that they watched, and it got bigger, and it was pressing on a bad area. So in November of 2020, I had a craniotomy, had plates and screws put in, and me and my son-in-law like to pick on each other. And he was like, I'm surprised they found a brain in there. And I'm like, well, at least I have proof I have one. You don't. But that time after that, it's a good time. It's a lot easier to sit down and listen to God and pray and get caught up when that's all you can do for a little bit. Sometimes our wings have to be clipped for a little while, and for us to sit down and focus on what's important and what you should be doing and getting close to God again. And I just thank Him for getting me close to Him again. And that period of time after that up till now, me visiting churches and trying to find the right one again. And I've ended up back in the one I started in Mount Airy at Temple Baptist Church, and I should have just kept going there the whole time. But I thank the Lord that He was patient with me and still loved me. Even when I was being a big old turd, He still loved me anyhow. And I just thank Him for it.